Derivatives trading involves substantial risks of loss and is not suitable for all investors. Past performance is not necessarily indicative of future results. You know what? Oh, you know what? I have to fix this camera from yesterday. I'm not very good at reading things fast. I don't have that, the guy that reads the fine print really quickly at the end of commercials. Not me. So, anyways, when we got everything right, oh yeah, we need to move. Need to fix this here from yesterday. I think that I got the video that I need, although I haven't gone in to edit it yet. Maybe when things get going again, I'll go and try that again. But oh yeah, we're gonna try the data thing today. Okay. Well, first let's post the links. Yeah. Close other tabs, and then we'll just open these ones. Okay. So here's the Twitch link. Bum, bum, bum. And here is, oh no, but I don't want that one. Here is
more certainty about your potential.
Pause. I don't want to hear that. Nobody wants to hear your stupid commercial. Actually, you know what? That one's not a bad one. NADEX, and it's only 6 seconds. That's good. Have you guys been getting these videos? I don't necessarily see them on my page, but everywhere on YouTube, I'll get these commercials for some trading education, and they're like full videos. They're like 3-minute videos that they want me to watch before videos, and I'm like, no, screw that. Anyways, oh hey, you know what else? Let's fix this.
Having fallen to 18.7 from 35.3, and continuing pace
Okay.
in the NFP survey week.
That probably sounds a little bit better now.
1,713,000 versus 1,730,000. On the negative side, January's headline NFP data shows a slight skew to come in below consensus, as 55% of this month's prints have missed by an average of 55,000.
Okay.
Quick look at the range then, and we're looking then for the non-farm payroll, 165,000 from 312 last month. The range minus 40,000 to a positive 230,000. Unemployment rate seen at 3.9%, unchanged from last month. The range 3.1 to 4.1. Average earnings on the month seen up 0.3 from 0.4. The range 0.1 to 0.6. Year over year seen up 3.2 versus 3.2 last month. The range 2.9 to 3.4. Private payroll seen at 170,000 versus 301,000 last month. The range 110 to 224,000. Manufacturing payroll seen up 17,000 from 32,000. The range 6,000 to 31,000. Average workweek hours seen at 34.5, unchanged from last month. 34.3 to 34.6, the range. Last month saw labour force participation at 63.1%. We saw underemployment U6 at 7.6%.
There we go. Okay, so and I have to change
as ever, we get the 2018 revisions to non-farm payroll come through today. Again, this could add a bit of messiness to today's numbers, so be aware of that.
Why is it not
Trump up and tweeting at the moment.
Oh boy. Okay, sorry, I have the screen hidden because I'm going to change, because we wanted to try putting the data directly into NinjaTrader, and so I'm just going to show you what that looks like. All right. But I think I need to re-download the instruments. I think that's what's going on here. CBOT. See me. Features and spreads. Download. So I did. Oh, by the way, did we get any activity? Yes. So the spread chart indicators are up on the website. So I'm interested to see. I made a video yesterday about the Democrat primary, and I'm not gonna say that it was my best work. I think there's a couple of things that I can fix and make better for next time. But I'm interested to see how people react to it. So look in there. It doesn't look like there's been too much activity, but you know it's in the morning, and so we'll see. Okay, so now if I pull this up, yes. Okay, so we want the March contract. CB. Is it giving me data? Interesting. Look at that. I loaded it up. It's not, I mean, it says it's connected, but it's not actually doing anything. Just gonna try disconnecting here and reconnecting here. Rhythmic connected successfully, but I'm not getting data. Rhythmic. Yeah. Okay, so we were talking about how
don't forget, we do have Chevron at the bottom of the hour as well. Obviously, we'll be concentrating initially on the jobs report, but we will bring you the Chevron numbers. Obviously, ExxonMobil beat comfortable beat on the EPS earlier this morning.
So we were saying that you needed to have the.
I'm sure I've done this before. There's just chatter that EU moves to ensure validity of aviation safety after Brexit, but that's part of what we I think we knew.
Xeon.
3 minutes then to the hour, bottom of the hour. Non-farm payroll is expected at 165,000 versus 312. The range minus 40,000 to 230,000 positive. We have an unemployment rate expected to be at 3.9%, which will keep it unchanged from last month. The range 3.1 to 4.1. Average earnings on the month seen up 0.3 from 0.4 last month. The range 0.1 to 0.6. Year over year earnings seen at 3.2 from 3.2. The range 2.9 to 3.4. Private payroll seen rising 170,000 from 301,000 last month. Manufacturing payroll seen rising 17,000 versus 32,000. Government payrolls last month were up 11,000. Labour force participation last month came in at 63.1%. U6 underemployment was at 7.6%. Get annual revisions coming through as well, which we'll try and cover as expeditiously as we can. Quick note from BMO here also. They say that the anecdotes for February non-farm show a slight skew to the upside. They say ADP beat lower than expected jobless claims for NFP survey week, and cooling challenger job cuts are all signs of labour market optimism. On the other hand, regional Fed surveys show dips in employment, and January's NFP data has seen a modest seasonal propensity to disappoint, which is not encouraging for this month's release.
So this is a really big number that's coming up. Anyways, so what I just established there is that I cannot connect directly to Rhythmic without the $20 Rhythmic API. I can get it through NinjaTrader, but if I try and connect it directly now, it no longer connects directly. So that answers that question. Well, it connects, but then when I try and get the instruments, nothing happens. So that is
minutes ago, just gone a minute ago.
the way it goes. So anyways, this non-farms number, and I really have no clue which way it's going to go, but this non-farms number is a pretty big deal. You can tell obviously by the amount that the squawk guy is talking about it, but the number always that we want to pay attention to is average hourly earnings month over month, right? That is a more important number for us. It's I forget, it's live squawk. It's live squawk. Yeah, it's this thing right here. Anyways, I think that we may see a move down.
It's gone 10 seconds.
Or sorry, a move up into Treasuries. I think that this number might disappoint and push the E-minis down. But we care about what the 0.3 is, okay?
304,000 from revised 222,000. Average unemployment rate there 4%, rising to 4%. Average earnings 0.1 from 0.3 year over year,
really
3.2 from 3.3 revised from 3.2%. Average
so
work
I don't want
hours
to sell
at
that.
34.5 in line. 63.2 we see for a labour force participation. And we see 8.1% for U6 underemployment. Non-farm payroll headline 304,000 from revised 222,000. Private payrolls 296,000 from 206. Manufacturing payrolls at 13,000 versus 20,000 revised. Unemployment rate then at 4%. Average earnings 0.1% on the month, 3.2% on the year. Average work week hours at 34.5.
So because the average hourly earnings were so bad, that is bad for inflation, and that is positive for treasuries to move up potentially. It's going to be really tough, but I saw some iceberging there at 13, so clearly somebody else must believe the same way that I do. They're doing it at 12.5 as well. I may get stopped out of this for sure. I mean, it's a really volatile one, but that's why I'm going long on this. It's a tough trade because the E-mini is going the wrong way. The E-mini does appear to like this news. Not what I want to see.
Headline EPS at $1.95, sales at 40 billion versus estimates of 46.13 billion. Upstream earnings 964 million in Q4 compared with 3.69 billion a year earlier. Downstream operations earned $256 million in Q4 compared with earnings of 1.2 billion a year earlier.
That's unfortunate. Okay. Well, let's just let this kind of calm down then. And you know what? There was a big iceberg there, 4,000, man. I think
just
that I
data
just
for
saw
November
the
and
wrong
December was
spot.
revised down to show 70,000 fewer jobs created than previously thought. Government shutdown saw about 380,000 workers furloughed by Trump's law guaranteeing these employees back pay, which meant that they were included in Jan payroll numbers.
Okay.
And the unemployment rate was down to this government shutdown as well, rising to 4%.
See, they're absorbing it here for sure. I see my spot, but I could just be like dead wrong here. You know, they're pushing through it. All right, well. All right, that's a little bit more encouraging.
Chevron shares up 2% plus here, pre-market following numbers.
Okay, that's a little bit too much there at 11.5. See, now they've done 4,000 at 11 twice. I guess that could just be profit taking, but let's see if we get an uptick here. What happens? Hmm.
Be aware, as promised, Pompeo now delivering a press conference on the INF.
Okay, well, they're not just stepping out of the way, so that's not exactly the best thing for this trade. Where's the 5-year? The 5-year is in the range possibly to break higher. Okay, so they did tick up. And they pulled. Okay. Best 4-month period of jobs growth since September 2016. Down tick again. Uptick again, 12.5 pulling. I think we're in okay shape. There's the 5-year is threatening. Okay. There you go. Yep, and trading into it. That's good. That's really good.
That feature then, Pompeo says US is suspending obligations under intermediate range nuclear forces treaty effective on Saturday.
Gonna give us another uptick in the 5-year. I think we're seeing steepening in the spread again because it looks like the 5-year is moving up much more easily than the 30-year is. Also notice that the 30-year has more liquidity than the 5-year right now, which I find a little interesting. In fact, the 30-year has more liquidity. Oh, you know what? That's because I have the wrong instrument over here. Durr. I should have ZB right there. That's a little bit better. Okay. Now that's maybe makes a little bit more sense. So now I can see that ZB actually moved up quite a bit there. This I think I should move. Not necessarily that I think it's going to get to the high of the day, but that's kind of the spot that I would really have to consider. 14.5 is a key price though. let me look at this number again. Now that the craziness is up. So the unemployment rate increased by a point, but the employment change was 304 versus 165. Huh. So I think you have a situation. It's kind of weird, and I didn't realize that it could be like this. But the headline number was really good for
That's in
equities.
a record 100th consecutive month of job gains in the US. I've also posted the revisions for 2018 up as well.
You can just hear the sentiment, and I'm seeing it here on Twitter as well. People are really optimistic about this non-farms payroll, right? But the the number is not good for treasuries. Like that is very, very poor for inflation, which is the primary driver of this thing, right? Is the Federal Reserve raises interest rates to handle inflation. And we saw hourly earnings increase by less than expected, much less than expected by 0.2. This is a number that's normally, it's like we expect it to be 0.2 and it ends up being 0.3 and we're all like, oh yay, and it's like amazing and great and everything. So for it to disappoint by 2 points, we've seen pretty significant moves in the past from that, and now we're seeing that now. And now we're getting close to the open in price. And as Uzi is pointing out, I thought that non-farms payroll candle would have a wider range. So they pushed it down almost immediately on the headline number, in line with what the E-mini was doing, but then they did not really push much lower, and there was actually passive buying down there, and now we're seeing this thing unwind. We're getting close to the news number, which was 14.5. And I'm going to see what happens there because there might be some resistance, but if we get through 14.5, this could really run up. This could really run up on us. So yeah, I don't think that I got a very good spot on that first trade. I think I should have given it up earlier than that and shouldn't have taken -4 on it. Then I could have, not felt so dumb when I bought the same price that I just stopped out at. But then when I was getting, an actual real signal there, that was good. So okay, so it is turning around on us. Yeah. So I think that I'm going to take one contract off here. Yeah, okay. ZB holding support on yesterday's VWAP. Huh. I don't know. This might be a spot where it turns around, so I might not be doing the right thing here, but how high did it get? I could have gotten 13.5. That sucks. Oh well.
So Louis Fed's Bullard says jobs data was strong for January.
Uh-huh. Thank you, Captain Obvious. They're kind of pushing it a little bit here in the 5-year, and they're not buying into me yet. I'm thinking about buying it again, though. See, I think there's an iceberg there, and the way that the 5-year is acting is a little odd.
Bullard believes there's time to
Okay.
wait and see on the economy.
I'm not bringing my bid closer to market yet. Gonna hang out down below for now. No risk. No good for me to sell at 24.
So you guys, even though there were strong numbers this month, they are backward-looking numbers, Bullard.
Should have held it. I think I got a little emotional there, guys. Okay, they are fighting it at 13 though. So
We know Bullard's a bit of a dove and just says rates at their current levels are very good.
Hmm. Well, I don't know if it's going to come back down to a spot where I can really buy it or not.
Shouldn't be presumptuous about Fed's next move, says Bullard.
So range is between 12 and 13.5. So 13.5 would be like the worst risk reward place relative to this particular range that you could possibly take.
The slowing down in growth does not necessarily mean anything negative for the country.
So it says I'm 4,000 in line. I bet you I'm like 1,500 in line. It only took 600 to tick down there. Hmm.
Bank's reserve demand will be larger than expected, Bullard. He says he's looking for some yield curve steepening.
We are seeing yield curve steepening, so yeah. What can I say? Well, that was a really strong move up compared to the move down, and we didn't come even close to getting filled.
Sheet size, so it's definitely going to be bigger than previously thought.
Hmm.
external factors and global economic growth not as robust as hoped for, says Bullard.
Hmm. I don't like that. I'm not too happy with this whole area just because. Ugh. Yeah, that sucks. The way that they're moving is making it hard.
China is growing more slowly than anticipated, says Bullard. Globally, we're still in a low interest rate environment. Fed will be reactive, data reactive as it comes in. That's Bullard again.
Where's my pen?
Block cell.
Okay.
It's worth noting Bullard is a voter this year.
Okay, so what just happened there does tell me that I was right about location, but that doesn't tell me that we're going to turn around here. Unfortunately, I think that if this turns around on us, it could do so quickly, and so, yeah, just like that. So there's the 5 years kind of being a little testy. It's not really threatening the lows per se, but it does seem to like this 24.75 level for some reason. They're pulling there.
Feedback from labour market to inflation is very weak, says Bullard.
That was a very strong flip there. Wow. The 30-year did not follow. I don't know about that. That might have just been
Bullard
tricks.
sticks his opinion on to Brexit now. Says cannot see from distance what a resolution would look like.
If I was a member of the Federal Reserve Board, that is not something that I would talk about. I think, though, that Bullard speaking right now is not conducive to a trade, apparently. I think that I should have realized that a little bit earlier, huh? Why am I risking 3 to 4 for 1? Well, I only intend to risk 2, but sometimes shit happens. And I'm not necessarily... I remember that I've got 2 on there, so I was really trying to build a position there. But clearly I did it wrong. Yeah, this is not shit. Alright, well. I guess I just need to get more in tune with this because it's not been going my way. Observer's going to try a short in ZB. I guess the problem is that the news could mean is still overall positive, but just not as positive for Treasuries as it is for the E-mini. Positive meaning like good for the economy, interest rates raise. So like if that number was 0.3, we would be like just shooting down to the bottom. But because it was a 0.1, it's slow and there's a little bit of contention on it, but it still moves down. That's kind of the same, like what took that turn 24 turned out good. Yeah, okay. To me, it feels like that the way it's ticking is very random.
So, company news,
Yeah.
Siemens Alstom deal said to lose the vote of national regulators. So, M&A news there that Siemens Alstom deal said to lose vote of national regulators.
Really, when I got that decent winner that I got, I should have taken a bigger step back. Because, there was a Fed speaker speaking, and I guess I kind of dismissed it because in some of the past trades it hasn't mattered too much. But this one it seems to be affecting markets like they're not really taking the trades they normally would. And yeah, buying, selling a dead center in the middle of the day's range is always a little iffy, so I'm not going to kick myself over it. Oh, you're talking about the 24, yeah. Right there at the point of control, the VWAP rather. Point of control was 25. Okay, well, price. So there was a divergence here, and it looks like price of it finally came back to in line with the cumulative delta. However, things are still a little unclear to me. I have to say that was a pretty weak move towards the lows. There you go. So there's the move to 10. And you can see there's not a lot of interest here.
Just in auto news here in Fiat Chrysler, January US auto sales rose 2.5%. Estimates were for up 5%.
Wow. And that's not going to fill. That's having a hard time getting filled. Well, my position there in the queue is probably not quite as good as it appears. A little bit of a bounce, yeah. It doesn't, I'm not seeing like a very clear reversal in the 5-year. I'm kind of more seeing the spot in the 10-year and just the lack of interest here. So there's still the possibility. Let's see if I can. Oh, that's definitely not what I want to see. 1705 at 10. Yeah. Will hurt. Yeah, I'm not. Come on. The 5-year ticked down, so I think that's why we're getting what just happened there. You know what, Swizzle? You should stop saying shit. Because I don't appreciate that. You worry about yourself. But I don't like that it was 1723 and it didn't tick up. But you can still see the same sort of a thing, like it's at the low. There's no reason that they couldn't, that a big person couldn't just come and sell everything that's right there and bust it. I mean, really, what's stopping him? Stopping him. You're short. See, if I had been short, I think I would have to be taking it off at 10. Even though there is a possibility that they break it down there at the low. Like, that's just like, you sit there down at the low, there's only 2,000 bid. If there was any big trader that wanted to move it down, he would have done it. Short 2705. That's interesting as well. So something I think is really interesting about all of this, well, we've already pointed this out, right? This was a huge non-farms payroll number. Like this was probably one of the most significant, most look forward to non-farm payroll numbers that we've ever had. Very critical time of the year and place for the markets. The headline number itself was double what was expected, and we have not moved that much. That is very curious. Now, I guess the counter to that is that they may just be waiting for the E-mini to open to do it. But okay, well, so that's good. Why does it show me that my average position is 10.5, but then when you see where I'm break even from, it's to 10? That's not quite right, but okay, whatever. See, that time I was able to do what I was intending to do that first time in that trade that I screwed up. It's like this trade that I think it goes okay when I take it long, but when it doesn't work out, it's like it tends to be a disaster. And I need to come up with a different way of managing it because okay, so the problem I'm having here now is that 11 is going to be a hard number to push through, and it's not just going. Oh, Dustin already took profits? Okay, let's see Swisso's chart. Right. No, yeah, it's interesting. Like look so. I totally see what you see. Like Like it seems like it should have gone further than it did. That's like but that's, I'm just kind of taking a counter. It's, to me, it's like they should have busted through '09 half, 20 minutes ago. That's kind of what I'm thinking. Maybe they just sit here and then the E-mini opens and then they go and do it. Okay. All right. So a little bit, they look a little bit more comfortable trading back and forth at 10 here now. Yeah. They let it tick up, but it doesn't go very high, and they take it back down. So somebody is looking for their short here. Hmm. Nope. Oh, of course. Of course. That's the live squawk. You hear that? So that bid there at 095 is suspicious. The 5-year is still down. Why would they be holding 24? Hmm. Like, really, if we were going to move down, I would think that we would go to 04. Looks heavy, but 1K bid in ZB. Yes. So they bought 10. Aha. And they sold all 9.5. This is really weird. With correlations, sometimes I feel like I'm trading the EMI. Sometimes EB order flow reacts to every tick the ES makes. Yeah. I'm not a fan of that when it does that. See, like this uptick here, it was not necessarily a significant. Why do I think 040? Okay, that is a little bit more encouraging. I still think that the very poor average hourly earnings means that we are still okay. That's what I wanted to see. I think that the average hourly earnings being poor means that there is that at the very least the buy side pressure is the downside is limited, and there maybe even is the possibility that the E-mini decides to sell here anyways and push us up. I mean, really, E-mini equity markets have been very positive lately. And so you would think that it would be easy. It would be easy for them to move up, and yet they're not. Okay. So we went offer there for a second, but then the E-mini has started a stronger move down. So the E-mini is possibly going to retrace back to the news price. Wow, Dustin. That was a good trade, bro. You said 2706, didn't you? Maybe leave one or two on. Yeah. So I'm watching this in the E-mini and I'm kind of wondering now, how far can this go?
Just under 10 minutes, we get the release of Canadian manufacturing PMI for January, the prior there of 53.6.
You know, it would be odd for us to have a strong move up like that and then a little bit of a pullback. And it goes sideways for a while, fails that level, and then that next level it decides, oh, okay, we'll buy it here and we'll stay up, you know? Not that it's impossible or anything, it's just like the usual behavior is that this whole thing up would be like, oh, okay, everybody got to bail now and the whole thing unwinds. So the thing I'm seeing here at the moment is that they have bought at 09.5 and they are holding it reasonably well, but it's not enough that people are buying 10 and the sellers are not giving up or panicking yet. I think if there's an uptick at 10 though, that could really change the situation. Well, that's not a terribly strong, this is a zipper in the 5-year as well. So this could tick back and forth here. Okay. So it goes off for a second. They almost immediately buy it and bid more. And then they traded a ton there. All right. So he took the whole thing. He's not going to go for more though. It doesn't look like the E-mini is going for more yet. What the hell? That's a long signal. So I got to keep this on. What happens. I don't know if this is gonna hold, but there's a real recipe for drama here, man. I don't feel entirely confident though. It does look the price action looks heavy. Hmm. Nope. Nope. I think I should give up on this long thing. Hmm. It's an okay uptick. Hmm. This is super tense. Super tense, guys. Look at that. They're doing it again. They're buying it again at 09. Lots of robots trading it back and forth now. No one side really holding. Well, okay, they're held. But the 5 year is not ticking back up. Yeah, I think that was worth a good shot because there was a very um interesting iceberg aberration there. But what I see at the moment is that the 5 year appears to want to move down.
Just under 1 minute time now until the Canadian manufacturing PMI for January again. That's a power of 53.6. 10 seconds.
Manufacturing PMI. There's no. Oh, it's
53.0,
Canadian.
53.0 for the Canadian manufacturing PMI.
Well, you mean you kind of reacted to that and sold a little bit. But that's maybe just the open. Okay, decent amount of selling. Treasury's not really reacting. Now they're reacting. They're not sure yet, though. Okay. So sellers came in at the start and sold it down, but they didn't push through the other side or anything, and now you're getting some buying push, and the buying push looks like it's pushing some new swing highs, at least from this little down move here. So I think that okay. It might go back and forth here, but that was an okay signal from the buyers. Let's see how far the sellers take it this time. The last swing was 2703. Okay. So having our price go bid now, I think is pretty significant. It's pulling. It's pulling, but it's not going bid, and the E-mini recovered, even though it did go lower there. Okay. Ooh, boy. I should just, there we go. So with that move, the momentum, at least the short-term momentum in the treasuries, is turned in our favor. Yeah.
In 10 minutes time, we'll be getting the US and manufacturing PMI for January. The final reading expected to remain unchanged at 54.9. Also in 10 minutes time, we're expected to hear from Fed's Kaplan. We'll be speaking at the University of Texas in Austin. No text of the speech will be released, but there will be a Q&A with both audience and media. So in 10 minutes time, we're expected to hear from the White House's economic advisor, Kudlow. He's speaking on Bloomberg TV.
Kudlow is on Bloomberg, huh?
Just a reminder that Kaplan is not a Fed voter this year and considered a centrist. Recent comments saying it's very possible that by the middle of 2019, economy may look very different than it does today, and because of that, it's wise to be patient in our actions.
I don't know, guys. I'm finding it painful to sit in this trade because I just want to see it go, you know? You ever get like that? Like if I'm gonna take a loss, then just do it and end my misery. But this 09.5 keeps going bid, and there's been a lot of buy. There's been a lot of buying there. 46,000 contracts now. Volume traded at that price. I guess we're kind of at the mercy of the E-mini if they decide to go and push lower here or not. The moment they're not clear if they're going to or not. Okay, that was a little bit more encouraging. Okay. So they went for the low. There was a little bit of support there. But it's still holding it. It's still threatening. Still threatening. I think that at this point there's a pretty good chance that they go for another step.
Comments now from the Bank of Canada Senior Deputy Governor Wilkins, currently on an interview with CBC Radio, expecting the energy sector to be a small part of the Alberta economy and Canadian economy.
Bottom of the day's range is good risk, let it ride. Like it's making pretty good pushes down in the E-mini. That 095 just went off for pretty strong. That's not a good sign for us. That turned around awfully quickly. Yep. Thank you, bye. Yes.
From Kudlow, thinking that 3% forecast for US economic growth in 2019 is intact. So that's Larry Kudlow speaking to Fox Business News first. He thinks that 3% forecast for US economic growth in 2019 is intact.
Okay, so I think that really dashed the long hopes. This one, if I take this, it's really got to be here.
So 3 minutes now until we get the US market manufacturing PMI for January. Again, the final reading expected to remain unchanged at 54.9. For emerging market news now, comments out of South Africa's PIC saying that the board asked to be relieved of its duties. More from Kudlow saying that more people working is not inflationary.
More people working is not inflationary. Would have to see what they're talking about to even have a clue of what the context of that is.
It's more from Bank of Canada's Wilkins. As the economy continues to improve, people are working in a gig economy. The transition to more stable employment, reducing labour pressure. Kudlow again saying inflation is caused by bad money and collapsing currency. We don't have that.
I'm not quite sure why that gave me -3. I think I misread my risk there. Well,
It's more from Kudlow saying that Trump is optimistic on Chinese trade, but one can never be certain. Continuing that US and China both agree that there must be unambiguous enforcement. And a bit of equity news now. CNBC reporting that the CBS Viacom is likely to re-engage, but it hasn't happened yet. Just under 1 minute to go.
Ugh. Need to pull my news.
Kudlow again saying there's a lot of work to do to nail down a deal with China on trade ahead of the March 1st deadline. 10 seconds. It's 54.9 for the US market manufacturing PMI as expected. Just looking closer at the breakdown, the manufacturing sector final PMI output index at 55.7, while the final PMI for new orders index at 55.6.
Okay, well, there's still some support here, and while it is awfully slow going, they are still making dents in it. And you can see, though, a lot traded at 09 now as well. We'll see. You know, we said E-mini reacted pretty strongly to it, but it hasn't actually moved up that much. Maybe when they open up, they'll actually move. When we've opened up and they're still not quite going, you know? What the hell? Interesting.
As comments out of the ECB, the 2018 stress test analysis showed improved capital bases of the significant euro area banks.
That 08 doesn't look quite as scary now, does it? 1,000 lots sold it. Okay. So there was a little bit of a stop run there. Let's see now. Man, I don't think we're done yet. I think 04. But a 5K bid, you always gotta. But it's been there for such a long time, you know? Okay, well, the E-mini moved back down to the bottom of that range. Crazy. Huh.
So in 10 minutes time, we do have quite a bit of US data at the top of the hour, starting with the US ISM manufacturing PMI for January. It's expected at 54.0 against a prior of 54.3. On the breakdown, the prices paid index 54.3 expected against prior 54.9, and the new orders a prior of 51.3. Unemployment index prior 56.0.
Some buying there in
And
the
then we're
E-mini.
moving on to the University of Michigan sentiment for January. The final reading expected to remain unchanged at 90.7. And on the breakdown, the current conditions, prior of 110.0, expectations a prior 78.3, 1 year inflation 2.7% previously, while the 5 to 10 year inflation 2.6% previously. As well, we're getting the US construction spending for November. That's
Block
month-to-month
sell.
expected at 0.2%.
Jeez.
It's power of minus 0.1%. And finally, from the US, the wholesale inventories, the final reading for November, month-to-month expected at 0.5% against prior 0.8%, with the wholesale trade sales month-to-month figure a prior of minus 0.2%.
Well, I think that Tyler is trying to tell us to stay short. Okay. Pretty big offer iceberg there at 8.5. Yep. Okay, so the E-mini is showing some support here at 2,700 or so. Treasuries don't seem to care what the E-mini is doing and just continue to push down. Good job, Digital Shot. I am very smart. Yeah, that sounds like me when I'm being stupid, isn't it? I am very smart. Oh, look, let's go long and get stopped out 4 fucking times in a row. So obviously I'm trading sim today, right? And when I get like one of these, like probably right about there is about when we'd stop. So there's probably a good 8 ticks that we shouldn't have lost if we stop trading. Yeah, you just switch over to the sim account. I mean, I see support. I see the E-mini is probably gonna to bounce out here and make a higher high at some point. I think. But this, I'm saying this largely because the treasuries are just pushing and pushing down and don't seem to care.
This is more from Wilkins from Bank of Canada. The bank ponders whether to hike rates, taking into account the fact that increases will have more of a bite due to the high level of indebtedness.
Well, they came back down to that lower end of that range.
Just over 3 minutes time now till we get this US data. We'll be starting with the headline numbers first, then back through the breakdowns. Starting with the ISM manufacturing PMI for January, that's 54.0 expected. The University of Michigan sentiment for January, the final reading expected to remain unchanged at 9.7. The US construction spending month-to-month, 0.2% expected for November, while the US wholesale inventories month-to-month, 0.5% expected, as well the final reading for November.
As long as I continue to see huge icebergs on the offer side now, because remember up here we saw some bid icebergs. Now here we're seeing these sell ones. I think I want to keep it. You could even potentially do that if you happen to get lucky. Oh, the E-mini pushed a little bit lower there, and the treasuries still don't seem to care. In fact, that's why. What is with 065? Oh. There must be news. What is at the top of the hour? Oh, ISM. ISM numbers coming. That we're looking, and consumer sentiment. Oh, there's just a ton of numbers here.
One minute.
That's a lot to have traded there at 07.5. And low liquidity and before news. Remember, ISM 54.1.
Ten seconds. $56.6 for ISM manufacturing, with University of Michigan sentiment at 91.2. Construction spending at 0.8%. Just run through that again. ISM manufacturing at 56.6, beating expected 54.0, power revised to 54.3. On the breakdown, employment at 55.5, the power revised to 56.0. Prices paid at 49.6.
What's next? What's next?
Power revised to 51.3. The wholesale inventory is coming through now as well, month to month coming in at minus 0.6%. The University of Michigan sentiment 91.2, that was beating expected 90.7. On the breakdown, the current conditions 108.8, while the expectations at 79.9. 1 year inflation at 2.7%, while 5 to 10 year at 2.6%. Again, on the US construction spending month to month, that was 0.8%, below expected 0.2. And on the wholesale inventories month to month, 0.3%, below expected 0.5, with the trade sales month to month at minus 0.6%. Looking closer at the ISM, the employment index there coming at the lowest since April.
I think if I can get filled here again, I'm just... Nope.
More from Kudlow now, saying way away from putting a China trade deal down on paper, but did apply some new grounds. Currently speaking on Bloomberg TV.
That's something else. No, I don't know. I'm really indecisive now. What the hell? I'm like, oh, I should have kept it. Oh, well. Whatever. Whatever. I think we could go to 31. The funny thing is that the E-mini has not moved. So what do you guys think about? Will you buy me a lottery ticket tonight? All right. I mean, there's always looking how far it goes for sure, right? But all that happened there was I saw a potential buy earlier, and I got fucked over by that buy. And when that was over with, at that point, I knew it was like, okay, this is just going to keep going. And that was all there was to it. And like I said, as long as I continue to see the offer icebergs, like we're like right here at 025, it's still, I mean, pretty hard to get filled here at 03, but they're not done. They're not done. You could just put like a stop limit right there. You're not even getting filled on stop limit. You just have to sell 015. Like, holy fuck.
It's more from Kudlow, sensing urgency from China to get a trade deal done.
You could sell 10, frankly. I don't know. So risk reward is like super crazy. I really think you should only trade news. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, the problem is while that was a lucky trade, if I was not trading sim, we would be done and we would have come out negative on the day, right? And some of the news recently, geez, like I really should have just kept it. Let me go bang my head against the wall. I was like, okay, what's the next one? What's the next one? 31? Oh no, I don't know if it's gonna go that far. Okay, let's take it off, and then it just goes. I'm so fucking stupid. I guess I didn't really know. Maybe I did the right thing. I don't know. I feel like I did the wrong thing right now though. Because the thing that I was noting at the time that made me kind of want to keep in was that the E-mini had not really jumped yet. So I'm like, oh, this could keep going. You seem to do really well during news. I do tend to do well during news. But so what I was trying to get at though was that my reading off of the initial news at the very least was wrong, wasn't it? So I thought, okay, this is going to come back a little bit or it's going to be limited. And it did come back and I got a little bit out of it, but then it just completely fell apart. And so yeah. I feel like my risk management and my emotional management through that whole thing was very poor. Is I guess the thing that I'm getting at is that I don't think that it should have been minus 8 or you know, was almost minus 16 at one point, you know? That should not have happened. This right here shouldn't have been a 93, you know? That one in particular, that one shouldn't have been a 93, and I don't understand why that one happened, but you know, that one probably could have been break even or just minus 2. So I do well during news, but I felt like I traded like shit today. Even though I caught the big move down. It's just like yeah, I caught the big move down, but how often is an opportunity like that going to present itself? Because normally it would not have kept going. Normally it would not have given me that much more downside. So, I had another thought for you, smash the bid, but I don't think that it's the news. I think it's when it's moving, right? So when you have a move that is ticking around a lot and there is a lot of volume and liquidity,
subject that came up in the Chinese trade talks.
That's where I feel that I tend to do well. When you have a move that's really slow, like it was way back up at 122.10, you know, that's where I do terrible. That's where I do terrible. The other thing is why you know, I see the buy like literally like 4 times in a row. What was gone? Why stick with Xian then, the thing that tests your patience? That's the question, isn't it? So there's 2 things. I don't think it's patience. I don't think it's patience. I think that it's clearness of the signals. Like when it's moving and like there's people trading and people have a reason to trade it, when they show which way they're going to go, they go. And so I tend to do well like at the beginning of the year around news and not do so well like, you know, 3/4 of the way through the month when there's not a whole lot of reason for them to trade it. So that's the first thing is I don't think it's necessarily patience. But number 2 thing is that if your problem is patience, and I do think that is my problem, although I wouldn't use the word patience, I would use the word attention span, right? It's like the red prophet. Oh. Wait, which one is total? Oh, closed, yeah. I don't know why it does it like that. Anyways, if your problem is the focus and or patience or whatever it is, I think it's like being in ZN, even though like that's the thing that you struggle with the most, because you struggle with it the most, it's going to hurt you the least in ZN because you literally have no choice but to be patient because it doesn't tick very often. You know what I mean? So like if I traded oil, then I would be making impulsive, stupid decisions all over the place, and every day would be like today. You know? And that was what happened to me in ZB. Was I would always get there. I would see a range, and I'm like, oh, like I really think it's gonna go down. I really think I should sell this price. So I do it, and then what? It's like, immediately turns against me. It's like that, or just like right now. Oh, I should sell it here. Well, but what if I don't get it filled at 025? Maybe I should sell into 02, and then they'll flip it around and stop me out at 03 half or whatever, I know I sound like a little animated about this particular thing, but it's because it's something that I found helped me a lot, and that is counterintuitive and fools a lot of traders. Just because something is your weakness doesn't mean that you need to go and find an instrument where you don't have that problem. Because if that's your problem, it's probably going to be a problem on any instrument. And so it's maybe better to trade in on an instrument that forces you to deal with that problem and overcome it. Yeah? Make your weaknesses become strengths. ZB doesn't really move much more than ZN. It's just those $31 ticks that can kick you in the nuts. Yeah, well, that could be true, but man, so ZB trades a little bit differently than it used to, of course, but I'm just looking here. I need to keep an eye on this. I think I just want, I don't know. That's what I want if it gets down there. So like these things right here. Okay, this was a little bit after the news, but you see this range here where it's like 5 tick range here. Those fuck me up in ZB so bad, because it almost seems like I'll always get in and I'll be like, oh yes, we sell this one, and I'll sell 23, and then all of a sudden it's at 26, and I'm like, what the heck? I should actually have sold 26 instead, and I get, or actually it's actually usually worse. It's more like, okay, I think that we want to buy. Okay, it's up here at 26. Okay, I should buy it because it's going to come out of here. Nope, and then it comes down to 23, and then I'm like, oh well, I should have just bought 23. So then you buy 23, and then you get stopped out on that too. So it's like, you're losing all of that.
Comments now out of Fed's Kaplan. Cutting immigration would hurt US GDP growth.
You get what I mean? Well, I don't like what I'm seeing in the E-mini. There's some pretty massive bubbles there. Well, that's good that 02 is pulling, though. Okay. Yeah, I didn't like that when they tried to trade through there that they were pushing it back up. So maybe I get the +4. Anyways, you understand where and the problem is in ZB. Sorry, ZN. Now let's bring the ZN chart over here. I hope you guys can see those well, because sometimes we're like, he doesn't care. But so here in ZB, I said, what were the prices that I was most interested in? I think the ones that seemed to... Okay, so there was this 13.5. Which ones were I in the longest for? Was the 10. For sure. There was 10 and 09.5. So the 10, 09.5 area was the area that I was most interested in, and I saw support. And where is that? That is right here. See? So I had 10 and 09.5. That was the bottom of that range for a long time. And in fact, I could have taken profits on it at some point. See? It's like ZN forces you to look for the price. It's almost like sometimes the direction doesn't matter. Like, you can have your bias
More
for the
from
day.
Fed's Kaplan, the trade with Mexico has meant the jobs gains in the United States.
That's pretty good. Where did I take 0.25 plus 2? That would have been good. 2 to 3. Fine. I think that you stick your biases in and you say, okay, this is the direction I'm going to trade today, and you wait for the spots. And if you trade it right and you're like going against it, then you'll still get like 1 or 2 going the right way, you know? That's the way that I want to trade. I did a real shit job at it today. But yeah. I don't know. You know what? Another thing. Well, like, here's the funny thing. Because I'm actually learning to appreciate Smash the Bid being around, because he gives me shit, and I find it really annoying when he's like, I don't know if you should do that. Although he was right. But, well, him and Swisso. You know. But, they remember the summer. They've been around that long, and they're in their heads like I'm still in the time period where I've been doing shit, you know? But this week was great. Let's see how well we ended up doing overall this week. Refresh. $437. LOL, because I'm a jerk. It's fine. I'm a jerk too. Yeah. So I do want to. I was like, do I want to spend time on this? No. Here's the thing. Okay, I'm okay with people being assholes. Like when somebody comes into my videos, like, go and read the comments for the video that I made about Procter and Gamble, the Gillette ad video. Like, some of the comments in there are just like, who writes this shit? Who's doing this, you know? That sort of a thing. But I find it a little bit entertaining. To me, it's like, people cared enough. People cared enough to try and troll me. That's fun, you know? One of the streamers that I like to watch, if you want to go and watch gaming streams, is Eris. And he's like, you know, people will come in and say something stupid, and he just bans their butt. And he's so non-remorseful and an asshole about it. And it's hilarious. And I'm totally down with that, right? The problem that I have is that I see people that I know want to help me, and they're doing it in the way that would be like the most unhelpful to me. I commend you for sticking with this, and I get not listening to everyone on the internet. You would be all over the place if you did. Yeah, totally. So it's like if somebody says, "Hey, Seth, you're gonna get stopped out," like I hate it because I can feel my natural reaction. It's like my brain, it does the thing, and I can't stop it. It immediately is like, well, then I should double and triple down so that when I'm right, I can go neener at this person and really show them who is, you know what I mean? Like I'm so contradictory of a person that just seeing somebody say something like that makes me think, and if I'm the other way, it makes me more confident in my trade. And some of my best trades have been against people like that. I mean, we had one earlier this week, didn't we? By the way, he hasn't been back yet. I wonder if I hurt his feelings. But if you want to help me, it's kind of more like, oh, I went long here. I'm doing it because I see this. And the more clear of the explanation it is, the better, right? Like when I see a picture, I kind of have a hard time really telling what they mean by it. But when they say, you know, it looks like they have more room to move because they never quite reached my target based on the volume profile, you know, then I start to think, okay, sure. And then it goes into like what we were doing before. It's like, okay, yeah, they should have, but they haven't done it yet, and they're being really slow. So I think that there might be a long here. And then it goes back into who was it? I think it was Digital Shot, right? He said, well, I saw the support there too, but then when we came up to 10, it didn't hold it very well, and it appeared to me to be defense. And I was like, well, I'm not so sure that it was defense. But then when we ticked down, then I was like, okay, yeah, they still want to sell this. And that means that they do want to go down to the edge of the profile. And so I was able to put an order at the 04 and take it. You know? So those comments were more useful to me. But what I really wish had happened was that when we turned around at the you know, back here, well, even before that. So when we did this,
Equity News now Handelsblatt reporting that Germany is planning to buy 3 new Airbus A350 airplanes.
When we came up to here and I took a profit, it should have been like, yeah, I don't think you just do anything but sell it now. Yeah, the problem is I'm a scalper. I'm in and out for ticks. My mind can change in 30 seconds, so I'm more trying to explain how things work. Yeah. Well, I think that you guys are going to be a lot more useful, you know, when it gets back into the slow time of year, right? This is the time of year where I tend to do really well, and traditionally, at least, of course, there's always different people, but traditionally, other people in the channel have a hard time with it because they see the edge of it and they think, you know, most days it reverses and I see a chance for it to reverse, and so I'll take it long here. You know, like maybe somebody would have taken it long at 04. Yeah, the Dom swing trader.
That's more from Fed Kaplan saying 2018 was a strong year for US GDP growth.
Because to me, I generally want to see something that's more than just the noise in the range, which means 4 ticks or more. And when we get this news and all of the stuff that's going on, you'll get 8 ticks opportunities almost every day, right? And so I try and take advantage of it. But then when April comes around, it's like the signals flip around. And so even though you can still get 4 to 8 on the trades, you really have to heed it every time that it says, hey, maybe we're going to flip here. And that's when I start doing shit, right? That's the other thing is like saying, you've been doing better, yes, but this is the time period when I'm expected to do better.
Kaplan said US economy in 2019 will slow as fiscal stimulus wanes. I sees the US GDP growing at 2% in 2019.
It's not noise though. Maybe I'm not using the right word, but I'm just saying I want to see like. Yeah, I want to see a swing change. Like,
concerned by
oh my gosh.
Globally, housing is just showing signs of weakness.
Yeah, I want to take it in a spot like a perfect trade for me would be, well, let's not do it in CB because CB is different.
It's Kaplan again seeing downside risk to the own economic forecast.
A perfect trade for me is I see a spot, I think that it's going to flip around here, I take it, and then when it distributes like it did at 015, I take it off. And if there is something that I see that really tells me that they're not done, and they go for more, I want to hold it. It depends on the situation, but preferably I would want to get this to this. And I would maybe be holding out for 31. You can take advantage of those quick flicks. I do agree that it would be much harder in ZN because of the fills, yes. Well, and that's where, yeah. The thing that I find really funny is that
Kaplan saying it's important for the Fed to get out of the way and take no action. Fed pause is the right thing to do.
I'd have to say after this week, chances of the Federal Reserve raising rates again this year are much higher, don't you think? It's funny how on Wednesday we were thinking, hey, maybe Federal Reserve, maybe they don't raise rates this year. They're going to hold off on things. They're sounding pretty dovish. I think they might hold off on things. So they do that, and now look at where the E-mini is. They get above that 27.18. I'd have to say that they have broken through the resistance that they had above us. I think that the possibility...
The base case is for the Fed to take no action through June.
A new high in the markets is now a possibility on my mind now. I'm not sure if I believe that that's what's going to happen, but it's on my mind now. Whereas before I was thinking, well, if we're able to break new highs this year, that would be just great, but the chances of it happening are like super low. Anyways, I find it interesting though, we were talking about the fills. How many times is it that I don't get filled and then it goes my way? And then when I do get filled, it goes right through you, The adverse tick thing in Treasuries is like a real thing. So if you're taking trades and you're almost always going in on the limit and you have like a positive expectancy or like a greater than 50% win rate, like you've got something that's really, really, really effective. Like you've got a real edge there because that's saying to me, if you're always getting filled on the market, that you're always getting filled when the market's going against you and you still end up being right. That hasn't been me lately though, has it? There's been a lot that I've missed. I probably could have made twice if we took out the mistakes that I've made and the places where I didn't get filled or I missed, probably double or maybe even triple what I made this week. And I did really well last week too. In fact, So let's go back. Let's go back to the beginning of December. 12? Actually, let's just do it this way. Let's just open up Chrome. Let's just open up the CIA spying software and pull up Journalytics. Yeah. And let's go all the way back to September. February 1st. Why? ZN. ZN only. I think there was some E-mini trades in there. Yes. Oh, I actually came down a little bit there in the middle of December. I had a bad day. Or somewhere. Yes, okay. I can pull this over. You can look now. Okay. So you can see here, even in September, I wasn't doing so hot. And then around October, I kind of started to pull it out because of the volatility, but I just didn't seem to believe in myself, I think, and I didn't really get the context right. And sometime around the beginning, middle of January was when I started changing the way that I looked at the context. And so, you know, I did really well this week. I had this time period here as well. So if you take it from, well, let's look at the stats on this one first. What is my win trade is 39.4%. So I had a lot of really bad trading at that beginning part of the year. But then when we go into the time period that I tend to do well, and I did well last year, and for whatever reason, I'm doing well this year as well. February 1st. Okay, so this time period is almost completely up. I had some bad trades up in there. There was like, this day was bad, this day was bad. So that's where I'm like, you know what? Probably could do almost double what I did. Yeah, and it's only ZN. So now if I show the stats, 45% win rate. That's good. That's about what we're shooting for. And then the scratch trades is okay. And we can come in here. It's not including commissions. There's way too many trades. How many trades do we make? Pretty sure the reason you're doing so well is because of ace trades. I have to say that when you come in and you take something in the E-mini, I think most of the time I'm already in a trade, but it definitely gives me a little bit of confidence when I'm like in the same direction on the treasuries, and I'm like, okay, yeah. I think that he's seeing something in equities too, so it must not be just me. 199. So 199 times, 256 or whatever it is. 500. So probably almost half of that taken out in commissions. That's a lot. Oh, kill me. Kill me. We gotta work on that for sure. I think here. Okay, /thanks, well done. Oh yeah, which ace? Which? I'm just kidding. We should put that in there so that it just calculates it by itself. That win that I got today was the biggest win that I could have gotten, and it was way more than could have been way more. See, I had a trade that was minus 203 though. That should never happen. I should never have a loser more than 125. I'm not quite sure what happened on that one. I might need to go back and look at it. Oh, and there was a loser that I sat in for an hour. I remember that one. That was awful. Okay, but average position MAE is 1.75. That is good. That is good. That means that we're picking our spots good. So in the past, it's been more than 2 in some instances. And to be getting 2, I would like to get that MFE to 3. If I can get that MFE to 3, then we're really in business. So I don't know if I should really be holding out per se, but I guess we're getting in the right spot. So let's just focus on that part. And the thing that we need to do now is we need to reduce the number of trades. Yeah. There's some bad trades that I've made and some impulsive trades that I made. We need to reduce the number of trades somehow. That's the biggest thing. And then by hour. So there's Tuesdays that I've done poorly on. Now that is really interesting. But is that because of an outsized loss on a Tuesday? It may be from... All right, now we're going to pull the calendar out. So there was the 15th of January. That was a Tuesday. The 15th. And then the 22nd. Yeah. So those 2 days alone screwed me over. So it might not necessarily be anything about that day, since it's created by 2 samples. But everything else is good. Having that Monday be positive, but just a little bit, is really what we want. Because what we should see is Monday and Tuesday should be like here. And then Wednesday we're good. And then Friday is going to be a little bit less. But to have Friday profitable is really, really good. Seems like Thursday, for some reason, is the day that I take too many trades. Well, there was one day, I think yesterday I took a lot of trades, and last Thursday I took a lot of trades. There's news on those days, so that might be part of it. Wow, you take the losses out, it's 4,000. That's so bad, guys. Okay. Well, that was a good time to talk. Notice that we did not get below 31, so we called the bottom level really well too. I mean, there could be more in it, but I think that that's going to be about it. We might be selling here for a bit now. This is a big downtrend day, for sure. What does the E-mini look like on the volume profile? E-mini is still a little indecisive. Like, look at this one. You know, I said that your resistance kind of is like halfway through here. Around 2,715. Yeah. They're still having trouble.
Equity's still not out of the market, out of the woods yet, but what we saw today was really encouraging. Okay. Anyways, enjoyed talking to you guys today. I'm going to post my notes, so you guys have any other comments, go ahead and put them in. Now I'll move these over here and I'm going to go post my cryptocurrency notes. Okay. Well, so I posted. I don't see any new comments. Just a reminder. I posted a video last night. It is not my best work. I felt like I was a little bit scatterbrained when I was doing it, and my delivery just was not as solid as I think it could be. And I need a new webcam. I really need a new webcam. But I'm really interested to hear what you guys think about the overall content in there. Like, am I telling you guys about things that you, in terms of the presidential race, that you didn't know and that you're finding are useful? Or are there other things that you would like to hear me talk about that you would prefer to say? So I'd appreciate it if you go and watch that video and leave comments, and don't be nice. It's okay, because it's totally, to me, it's like the pilot episode. So, yep, check that out. I've got another video, hopefully that should be out on Monday, that I'm really happy with. So there's just a little bit of editing that I got to do, and then we should be good. But I'm really happy with how it's turning out. I think you guys will enjoy it. It's something that we've talked about before, but I recorded it and really nice and everything. So I think you guys, yeah, you always enjoyed that, and I think you guys will enjoy seeing it with pictures and everything. So it should be fun. So look out for that on Monday. And in the meantime, stay profitable, friends.